Today we're hopping into the top 5 coastal cities right here in San Diego to live. So if you're thinking about moving out here, you're like, I want these coastal cities. Well, we're gonna break them down for you. Give you a little bit of pros and cons, what we like, what we dislike about each one, why they made that spot in the lineup. At the end too, we're gonna give an honorable mention somewhere that we made videos for in the past, but you guys gotta know about it. So we're just gonna start at 5, work our way down. Let's get into it right now.
So if you are thinking about moving to San Diego and you are looking for a coastal town, making our least desirable on our top 5 is La Jolla. Obviously, all of these cities are awesome. La Jolla is probably one of the most well-known. If you're looking to buy or looking to live in San Diego, La Jolla will pop up a lot. It is a pretty good size community, and it does have a lot of pros. Main pros are there's a ton of gorgeous views, there's nice beaches, there's great restaurants. La Jolla is really awesome as a whole. But with anything, there are negatives too, and I'd say La Jolla, the biggest negative kind of across the board is traffic. Since it is one of the most well-known cities, it is a bit touristy, so in the summer it definitely does get a lot more crowded, and there really is only one kind of 2 ways in and out, and so it just gets really, really packed kind of in those commuter times, and even more so in the summer.
And Cassie said least to most. We had to write it, least to most desirable, so you guys would watch it. But these are all awesome places to live, obviously. But one reason this is the 5th, number 5 on the list, is because the price point, the median price point, right around $3.2 million. We're right in the middle of 2024. It's always high on the list as far as price points go for San Diego communities, just because some of these properties, obviously great views, obviously a lot of amenities within your property, and just kind of, it's a little more old school area. So some of the properties are actually decent sized lots, especially as you go up the hill. There's just some beautiful homes up there. One of my favorite areas is in the southern section of La Jolla. It's called Bird Rock. We actually made a vlog of it. I'll see if I could put it up here. So if you guys actually want to check out that area, really cool area it's got. So if you've been to La Jolla, you've probably been to like La Jolla Shores, you've probably been to like the Village, all that kind of stuff. But just south of that is Bird Rock, the little community, and they have like their own little downtown with, it's not too long, it's probably a few blocks worth of restaurant, shops, all that kind of stuff. But you have some really cool little spots in there. Now beach access, not too great. As you're going down, you're gonna see the coastline is super rugged. It doesn't really become like super usable beach until you go north to the La Jolla Shores or south to Pacific Beach, where it opens up a lot more. So those areas too, like there's gonna be some overview points where you can like look out at the ocean, it's beautiful, but like going to hang at the ocean, probably not the best spot to do it. And in here too, there's not like a ton of, with all these cities that we're covering today, especially beach towns, it's not like if you're looking at Miami, you're looking at beachfront condos and just huge buildings right on the beach. It's mostly all just housing. Like there's just a lot of housing, single family homes. You'll find a few taller buildings here and there, a few hotels here and there. But for the most part, it's kind of quaint. It's not like big city life over there. Like I said, like Cassie said, touristy, you're gonna get that throughout the summers. We're coming up right now. You might be a good time to visit if you're thinking about living out here. And when you do live out here, it's a good time to visit. Local summer, coming into August, September, October. Not all the tourists, but a lot of tourists leave. We kind of have the beaches and the areas to ourselves. So all these spots during this time is awesome. It's like, what's the temp today? Like
75, 80?
75 to 80, somewhere in there.
Yep.
It's gorgeous out. And this is when we start, the marine layer goes away pretty early. You just get these awesome, really awesome beach days throughout all the cities we're going to cover.
And one more note on La Jolla too, it does have a lot of kind of extra outdoor activities. You've got really close, you got Torrey Pines Park, which is a ton of fun hiking, great walks, but you also have a lot of water activities in La Jolla, scuba diving, snorkeling, kayaking. There's just a lot of those types of activities that you can't really get in a lot of these other cities.
And if you guys are thinking about moving out here, maybe it's some of these beach cities that we're covering today. As a quick reminder, we are real estate agents right here in San Diego. So feel free, numbers popping up, call, text, email, whatever's easiest for you. We got your back when making the move here to San Diego. Number 4 on the list today is, actually, it probably a few years ago, it wouldn't have made the list. But it's creeping its way up. I could see it being like 3, maybe next year. Ooh. We make this. Maybe 2, no, not 2
yet. Hot tease for a whole year.
For next year's video. It's Oceanside, northernmost coastal city in San Diego. And there's a few different areas. So you do have like coastal Oceanside. You do have kind of that midsection of Oceanside, and then a new vlog that we just dropped actually is kind of like the inland area of Oceanside, where you have a few master plan communities. You have this really awesome community called Arrowwood, and when we were making it, you kind of feel like you're further out than you actually are. If you look on a map from just Arrowwood Golf Course, that's like a good central area, to the coast, to let's say the Oceanside Harbor, it's about 20 to 25 minutes. So even that far in Oceanside, where you get a lot of value, you get a lot of bang for your buck, it's not too far. And Oceanside has has on this list the most affordable homes in all of coastal San Diego. So it's coming in about $1.2 million or so for the median price point. That's just in the coastal section. As you go further inland, it drops down actually a little bit. So you can find some nice homes in, let's say, Rancho de Oro, and a few other areas just surrounding all different kinds of areas of Oceanside for $1 million or less, 900. The video we made last week, we looked at a house and it was like 850,000, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot, nice house, not like a flip or anything, not like a ton of work. So you will find that as you go inland. As you get more coastal, now as you're moving out here, most people aren't going to live like downtown Oceanside. Now it's like well established. There's, cool little houses over there, but that's also the area that they just have seen a ton of expansion over these past few years. When we were filming there on the Tuesday, just getting there, parking was crazy. Okay, it was during midsummer, so, but nonetheless, parking was crazy. The two hotels, Seabird and Mission Pacific, were popping on like a Tuesday afternoon. There was a ton of people on the beach. I'll show you some drone footage that Cassidy took. It was a nice, beautiful day here in San Diego. But that's like the happening spot of Oceanside. That's like where when we talk about growth in Oceanside, that's one of the main areas. Now, there's going to be some growth as you go out. There's some new developments. There's some new things going on in other parts of Oceanside. But that growth part, that main part, is downtown. One of the areas down there that is super cool, and I think it's going to get more valuable as we go through these next few years, especially there's a new potential law that has to get passed by each city. So, and I'll look for the article. It was one of the Northern California cities that actually put this into action, that you can basically build an ADU on your property and sell it separately from the house. So you could have your house, build your ADU, and if you want to, you could sell it separately. There's some things you got to like set up HOA, whatever. But Oceanside, South O specifically, it has big enough lots, it has big enough area, it's set up. So, I mean, my sister lives up there. She actually did that where she put an ADU in their backyard. And the value in there, because the ADU, for what you can build it for and what you could sell it for, the sales price is going to be significantly more than what you could build it for. So I just think those lots that have a little bit more room, that have that space, especially in that area of Oceanside, are going to become more valuable. Like I said, it's not passed in Oceanside, and maybe they just say, no, you can't do that. But it is worth keeping an eye on over these next few years.
And that is another reason that Oceanside's pretty cool and why it's on this list is a lot of homes in that kind of coastal region are going to be on the smaller side, like kind of more beach bungalow style, but nice big lots. And a lot of opportunity if you do want to expand, build an ADU or expand your house. There's tons of opportunity there. And like Chris said, I think over the next couple of years, whether it's ADU or whether it's just kind of normal growth and expansion and building up the community, you're gonna see that value continue to increase. Number 3 on the list, we've gotten to the middle. I guess the middle most desirable community in the coast in San Diego.
Or the middle least desirable.
Or whichever, whatever you want to
look at it.
And that is Solana Beach. Solana Beach is kind of unique in housing, kind of unique in the type of infrastructure that Solana Beach has. That whole coastal section of Solana Beach kind of has it all. So you have the Coast Highway, which has a ton of infrastructure, shopping, restaurants, all of it, everything you could need. But then you have right to the east of that, across the tracks, you've got the Cedros District, the Design District there, with a ton of infrastructure as well. You've got a brewery, winery, you've got a music venue, which is rad, Belly Up. And within this, there is really cool housing too. Solana Beach is definitely going to be, like, if you're looking for a coastal condo, Solana Beach has a ton to offer. It doesn't have a ton of oceanfront houses. It has a ton of oceanfront condos, which is just a little bit different than a lot of the other communities we talk about.
So if you're thinking about moving out here, maybe it's a second home, you want kind of that beachfront, but you want somewhat where it's not like multi-million dollars, there's a ton of condos right there, which are walkable to Coast Highway, walkable to Cedros. There's a bridge that cuts across the train tracks, so you can go there, go to the breakfast spots, go to the dinner spots over there. There's just a lot right there. Beach access, not great in Solana Beach. You have Fletcher Cove. If you're living there, you're going to find your spots. At the north end, there's some stairs. Don't tell anybody about those. There's some stairs to the south. Fletcher Cove's the main spot where like everybody would funnel in because it's super easy access. It's just kind of like a ramp that goes down to the beach. And beyond the beaches, there's also some other amenities. He mentioned the track, which is in Del Mar. Right to the south. To the north, you have a big trail system that they looped it all the way around, so you could actually walk from Solana Beach all the way up to Cardiff, and then it's just a big loop. It's called the San Alejo Lagoon. There's something in there called Annie's Canyon, a little slot canyon. It's really small, but worth checking out once or twice, especially if you got kids. Bring them up there. They'll love it.
I felt awkward doing it as a lone adult the other day. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You
I
went
didn't
hiking
do it.
there.
I didn't.
Okay, yeah. That's he did the hike around. How far was the loop?
3 miles.
3-mile loop going around. Beautiful,
great.
Obviously.
Yeah, it was great.
You're outside. It's pretty flat for the most part. You have a little bit of terrain, but not too bad. It goes all the way around, cuts under. There's a new bridge that cuts under the 5 freeway. So cool loop. You have access to that. San Diego Park, right to on the eastern portion. On the eastern portion too is where you're going to find some more of the master plan communities. To the west of the 5 is more custom, that's obviously the higher price points. And right now, median price point in there is about $2.8 million. You could fluctuate. Obviously, the coastal ones, that's probably like a fixer. As you get inland, that's a really nice house. So there's a lot of different types of houses, a lot of different styles of houses. Solana Beach, one of the cons is it's a pretty small footprint, pretty small population. So if you're looking specifically there, I'd recommend a few other areas as well, just to the north, you go to Encinitas, to the south, you go to Del Mar, just kind of get a few other options, just because, especially right now with tight housing inventory, with not a ton of homes coming on, if you're looking at specific areas, specific neighborhoods, maybe talk to us. We can kind of guide you in a few different spots. Be like, well, you like this area? Let's go check out here, because there are some other spots that will work for that as well. Coming in at number 2 on the list, I should have made it number 1 because this is where I live. I love it. So, but I left that bias out of it. Number 2 on the list is Encinitas, just north of Solana Beach. Awesome coastal city. It's probably about 4-ish times the size of Solana Beach. You have the coastal section, you have kind of the inland section, then you have another kind of rural section as you go further out called a Livin. So it's got a few different types of living, all different price points. Once again, Encinitas is also one of the most convenient areas that we're going to mention today because it has El Camino Real. So that's like a lot of people, he lives in San Marcos. That's one of the places he goes shopping, to go like Targets, to go to Dick's Sporting Goods, Home Depot. There's just a lot of places, a lot of big box stores. There's a lot of local places, a lot of grocery stores. That's where you're going to find like your Trader Joe's, your Sprouts, just Vons, all that kind of stuff in there. A little bit further towards the coast, you're going to find Lazy Acres. So a lot of options in there. But El Camino Real is anything and everything you need. And anywhere in Encinitas, you're probably like 5-10 minutes from it.
And this could be a pro or a con, but Encinitas is very particular about kind of building. So you don't see a ton of new construction. Also businesses, they're very particular what businesses go in to some of these communities. So that's tough if you're a business owner or tough if you want to build a house. But it is pretty good just to keep things kind of cohesive and keep it a little less crowded. Encinitas also doesn't have any land left, so you don't see a ton of development anyway. But one of the other cool things too is you have very kind of particular pockets or like communities. Like you have Old Encinitas on the south side, the coastal south side, which has its own restaurants, coffee shops, really cool feel. And then you go just to the north into Leucadia, once again, has its own kind of feel, kind of a little bit funkier maybe than Old Encinitas. And this is a big section too where you have oceanfront homes. So a lot of the towns we've talked about, just like Solana Beach or Oceanside to the north, they don't have a ton of oceanfront homes, but Encinitas does have a nice stretch on Neptune Avenue, which you do have oceanfront houses with either some of them have beach access on their lots, or some of them are really quick to some of the great beaches along Encinitas.
And that Leucadia strip is like the coast highway strip. They're redoing it, so some things are going to change. But a lot of that area is like one of my favorite areas, like let's call it downtown area. So you have like downtown Encinitas, which is a little bit further south, Old Encinitas, and then Leucadia it's still in Encinitas, but it's its own little jam. But really good spots, like go listen to some live music, get some good food at La Papagayo, Kaiola, nice little sushi spot up there. Regal Sea, go grab a beer and a brat. There's just a lot of little cool spots over there. One of my favorite beaches is over there. It's like a little switchback going down the beach. Anyways, once again, beach access not great here in Encinitas. You have to go to the north to the next city, or like Moonlight Beach, which does get packed. They just added a ton of sand to Moonlight, so used to be like bluffs. Okay, you have like the little inlet where you have the big beach in the middle. You have this iconic palm tree in the middle. And then the beaches were just like right there. It would drop into the ocean. Now they've dredged a lot, and so they added a ton of beach over the summer. So I'll drop in some footage here and show you. It's just a lot more area, so it spreads out a little bit, so it's not as packed as it has been in years past.
And number one on our list, and there's very particular reasons why it's number one on our list, is Carlsbad. A lot of people that reach out to us are looking in Encinitas, they're looking in Oceanside, they're looking in Carlsbad, and they tend to end up in Carlsbad. And a big reason for that is because first, it's a big city. There's 4 zip codes. There is a ton of options, but there's also just a ton of different types of neighborhoods and types of housing. I mean, you have Bressie Ranch, which is a really cool master plan community, a ton of amenities within the community there. You have Calavera Hills, which doesn't have a ton of amenities, but has a lot of housing and is still affordable here in San Diego. And Calavera is awesome too because it has a lot of hiking. They have a brand new high school right in the community. And even though there's not a ton of amenities right there, it's really quick to get to a lot of different options for shopping and restaurants and all that. And it's a quick, maybe 10, 15 minute drive to the beach from Calavera as well.
And then from there, from Calavera, if you go coastal, that's when you get into like Old Carlsbad. That's like the downtown. That's Carlsbad Village. It's a pretty condensed little area where you have, that's the shops, restaurants, places to go check out. That's that little section there. Other than that, there's not really, that's like the central hub. If you're going out in Carlsbad, that's gonna be it. You'll find some other spots, obviously, but that's where, if you're going out, you're going to, tourists are coming out, that's like where they're going, Carlsbad Village. So cool little spot. You're gonna find a lot of spots down there. Now, housing wise, that's where you're gonna find like a lot of single story beach cottages still. You're gonna find some, as you get into actual downtown, the main jam going up right now is like these luxury condos. So if you want luxury condos in a walkable area, that's going to be your spot. Mm-hmm. The next little coastal area of Carlsbad is Aviara. Big, it's a master plan community. It basically takes up a big portion of the southeast section of Carlsbad. It's kind of like resort feel. You have the Aviara golf course. You have some cool high-end restaurants over there. You do have beach access, like some of the better beach access in that section too. Carlsbad's gonna have the best beach access out of everything that we said, except Oceanside, I guess. Oceanside has some good beach access to the north as well. But Carlsbad has big stretches of beach, big areas to go, parking lots to the south, some areas. We went to the beach to a birthday the other day, and it was like a Saturday, whatever, towards the afternoon. And yeah, parking was not great there. It was on one of the stretches. If it used to be by the old power plant, there's basically Coast Highway, and then there's like parking along the side, so you have to stop unless you get there super early, wait for somebody to leave. I parked in a neighborhood and walked across, but whatever. If you're living there, you're gonna find your little spots to go to. You're gonna go during the week, you're gonna go early in the day, you're gonna be all right. But the other area that a lot of people do end up moving to is La Costa, which is kind of a broad area. There's a ton of different La Costas here in Carlsbad, and we made a complete video breaking down like all the La Costas, but it's just a lot of options. It is actually not one of the most affordable of all the beach cities. Calavera Hills is going to be that. But Carlsbad as a whole, median price point was sitting about $1.7 million. So you will find a lot of that. You will find a lot of housing in La Costa, different styles where you have like old La Costa, some old school houses, like bigger backyards. You're going to find like La Costa Oaks, which are bigger footprint houses with like smaller yards, La Costa Town Center. So Carlsbad has a lot to offer. It's made the number one on the list. I think it's got the most bang for your buck in all the coastal cities where you're central enough. Even if you wanted to go downtown, not too bad, hop on the 5, go down there. I guess all the beach cities, it's not really too bad. But from other areas, as you go inland, it's gonna get a little more difficult. But Carlsbad just has a lot to offer. Price point's solid. There's enough homes in there popping up in a lot of these different neighborhoods that you'll likely find somewhere that's gonna work for you in there. Where some of the other ones, like I mentioned, Solana is a little smaller. Honorable mention, which I'll bring up right now, is even a smaller footprint, is Cardiff by the Sea. Just sandwiched between Encinitas, it's technically part of the city, Encinitas, and then Solana Beach to the south. It's a little section, really cool beach vibe. And some of the best beaches, I think, as you go basically south of the campgrounds, you're gonna find big, wide open stretches of beaches because the lagoon's behind it, so there's not a ton of housing. There's a big parking lot to the south, really easy access. Even that gets filled up in the weekends. But Cardiff has a few different little distinct areas too. Cool little downtown, let's call it the downtown area, where you're gonna find like Seaside Market and that kind of stuff. And then as you go east of the 5, you're going to actually find some cool neighborhoods too. What's your favorite neighborhood?
I like Poinsettia Heights. It's just east of the 5. There's some just really cool, quaint little streets, really cool houses. So it was originally a master plan community in the 60s and 70s. But now it has just kind of a custom feel to it because a lot of the houses have been either remodeled, added on to, torn down. And it's just a really cool community.
And median price point in here is about $2.2 million or so. But beyond that, if you guys like pickleball, this is going to be your go-to spot. Bobby Riggs, it used to be a tennis area, a bunch of tennis courts, a tennis center. That's what we're going to call it. Now it's all pickleball. So we'll show you some drone footage, ton of courts out there. Pickleball is huge. A lot of HOAs are transforming tennis courts into pickleball courts or let them be both, a mobile net. This is just like a straight up pickleball area. So anyways, just a little bonus in Cardiff.
And Cardiff just is one of the most quintessential beach towns. All of these obviously have their own feel and everything. Cardiff is just, it's special. It's a really cool community. And if any of these have piqued your interest or you want any more information, definitely get in touch with us. If you're thinking about moving to San Diego, we are real estate agents here. And call, text, email. We've got your back. We're the ones answering the phone. We're the ones answering your emails. So definitely reach out. And we've got your back if you're moving to San Diego.